I want to show you a hand trick that will give you the values of the special angles, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. We'll be using these values throughout the semester, and you need to have the correct values quickly. You need to use your left hand for this trick. Think of allowing your hand and fingers to represent angles in the first quadrant. Your pinky lies along the x-axis. Your thumb lies along the y-axis. These represent 0 degrees and 90 degrees respectively. Now the other three fingers represent the special angles, in order 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees, as you see labeled here. Next, label the palm of the hand square root of some number divided by 2. This will start to make sense as we walk through the trick. One way to remember the order for an ordered pair is that x and y are in alphabetical order. If you work on the unit circle where r is equal to 1, then x is equal to the cosine theta value, and y is equal to the sine theta value. If you write this as an ordered pair, then they're also in alphabetical order. Use this information to remember that when using the hand trick, cosine is on top and sine is on the bottom. I'm going to show you how to use the hand trick to fill in a table of trig values for the special angles. Let's say that we want to find the trig values for 60 degrees. First, we bend our finger that represents 60 degrees. This divides the remaining fingers into a group on top and a group on bottom. To find the sine of 60 degrees, we take the square root of 3, because there are 3 fingers on the bottom, and the bottom fingers represent the sine. And then we divide that by 2. You always divide by 2 for sine and cosine values. The cosine value is found by using the square root of the number of fingers on top, which is 1, and dividing by 2. Make sure to simplify the square root of 1, and you see that cosine 60 degrees is equal to 1/2. Let's try that again with a 45-degree angle. Bend the finger that represents 45 degrees. This divides your fingers into those on top and those on bottom. Sine is found using the bottom fingers, so the square root of 2 fingers divided by 2. There are also 2 fingers on the top, and cosine 45 degrees is also square root of 2 divided by 2. Find the values of sine and cosine for 30 degrees the same way. Bend the finger that represents 30 degrees. Now you have 3 fingers on top. Cosine is on top. So cosine 30 degrees is equal to the square root of 3 divided by 2. Sine is on bottom, so sine 30 degrees is equal to the square root of 1 divided by 2, which simplifies to 1/2. Any of the other trig values can be found once you know the sine and the cosine, either by using reciprocal or quotient identities. However, the hand trick can also be taken further to more easily find the tangent or the cotangent values. Look at your sine and cosine values for 30 degrees. Tangent is equal to sine over cosine, so to find tangent 30 degrees, you could write 1/2 divided by square root of 3 over 2. Each of the baby fractions has a denominator of 2, and these reduce, leaving a tangent of 1, which is the numerator for sine, over square root of 3, which is the numerator for cosine. You can then rationalize and get tangent 30 degrees is equal to square root of 3 over 3. Now let's see how the hand trick can make finding that value a simpler process. First, look at the palm of your hand when you select the finger for 30 degrees. Remember, at this point, cosine is on top and sine is on bottom. Flip your hand over. Now you have sine over cosine. Remember how the baby 2's reduced? So for tangent, we just think square root of 1 finger over square root of 3 fingers. Anytime you count fingers, you take the square root of that number. Let's try that again with 45 degrees. Select the angle finger when looking at your palm. Now flip your hand over. Take the square root of the top divided by the square root of the bottom, which results in square root of 2 divided by square root of 2. Simplify that to see that tangent 45 degrees is equal to 1. To finish off our chart of special values, let's find tangent 60 degrees. Choose the angle finger when looking at your palm. Then flip your hand over. Tangent 60 degrees is equal to the square root of 3 over the square root of 1, which simplifies to square root of 3. This is a handy trick for finding those special values. It takes a little practice, but before you know it, it will be second nature to you. And it sure beats memorizing a chart.